Have you ever stared confused at a speaker, not understanding how this wiggly paper cone makes noise? Speakers, records, cassette tapes, CDs, and MP3s are straight up witch inventions for stealing souls. Give a dusty old vinyl to a Puritan and watch them shriek with terror thinking it's black magic. Imagine them imploding trying to unlock the space-age secrets. Trust me, it'll happen. But aren't we just apes on a grain of sand floating through space? How did we learn to trap sound in plastic with magnets? What kind of ritualistic voodoo is behind this audio magic? Well, send the kids to grandma's, cause we're sacrificing… Sorry, I meant we're summoning digital demons today. Wait, is that musical sound I hear in the background? So, soundwaves seem like total sorcery if you look at it closely. Wait, did I say look? No, I should have said listen. But I mean, how can wiggly air make us hear distinct noises like tasty bacon sizzling or angels singing? What kind of fairy dust lets vibrating particles tickle our eardrums into sensing sound? Is it magic? Witchcraft? Well, before we call the wizard police, let's break down this Barney style. First, remember that air is actually a bunch of molecules bumping into each other, like tons of invisible bouncy balls. When something vibrates, it bashes into these air molecules like a hammer on xylophone keys made of oxygen and nitrogen. Each bopped molecule spreads the vibration cooties to its neighboring pals. Soon, the whole orchestra of air molecules is vibrating, baby! This creates areas of squished together and spread out molecules, aka high and low pressure zones, radiating outward in waves. Now eventually, these invisible sound ripples reach your eardrums. The eardrum molecules catch the vibration bug and start bumping to the beat. This rock in motion gets sent to your brain via electrical signals through your auditory nerves. Your brain's like, whoa, the eardrum bros are totally jamming out! This must mean my human is hearing something! And translates the vibrations into meaningful sounds. So, in summary, vibrating object whacks air molecules like a spoon on wobbly jelly. Air molecules pass on the vibration cold to all their homies. Eardrum molecules catch the vibes and dance along. Eardrum boogie sends signals to the brain saying, we swayin' over here. And then brain uses math and magic, just kidding, psych, to interpret the vibes into actual sounds. So while sound waves seem bizarre, it's really just a sequence of molecule dance parties carried through the air until they shake your eardrum. No real sorcery is required. Just the physics of vibrating particles. Vinyl records seem straight up bonkers. I mean, music just pops out of moldy frisbees because of some scribbles engraved in them? What kind of dark magic cooked up this sorcery? Well, hold your wizard accusations, because vinyls actually rely on some clever science tricks to work their audio hocus pocus. Those wavy lines etched into records are essentially a physical blueprint of the original sound's waveform. Wild, right? It's like you could take a sound and melt it down into a wiggly vinyl goop. The record player uses a teeny tiny rock, aka a stylus, to read these squiggles and vibrate along with them. The stylus rock mimics the original sound vibrations, boogieing up and down to recreate the classic waveform. Now to pump up the volume, the rock and stylus gets connected to a diaphragm disco dancer. So when the stylus gets groovy, it makes the diaphragm wiggle too. This bigger surface can really shake its thang and vibrate the surrounding air molecules into submission. The diaphragm's slick moves launch sound waves through the air, so we can finally hear the sweet analog jams emerging from the vinyl waves. The diaphragm also attaches to an electromagnetic coil, which generates electrical signals. These can pulse through speakers to boost the volume for all to enjoy. So in summary, the physical record grooves get translated back into sound vibrations with the help of a tiny dancing stylus and a boogie fever diaphragm. It seems like magic, but it's just science getting busy. Cassettes and VHS tapes seem straight bewildering. How do they trap sound and video within slim plastic rectangles? What kind of sorcery gets embedded in their black magnetic film? Well, hold your wizarding accusations, cause once again, some clever science is at play. Both technologies rely on magnets to work their audiovisual magic. They store data by converting electrical signals into changing magnetic fields on the tape itself. Wild, right? For cassette tapes, audio signals get reformatted into wavy magnetic patterns on the tape. For VHS, video gets chopped into diagonal magnetic lines representing visual frames. When playing the tapes, the cassette or VHS player uses a read head to detect these magnetized grooves. The patterns of magnetic flux gets converted back into electrical impulses, which becomes sound or video. It's sorcery reversed. So in essence, these tapes physically store representations of the actual sound and light waves as magnetic variations along the film. They take the raw audiovisual signals and encode them into magnetic breakdance moves on tape. Then, when playing back, the read head detects the secret magnetic dance routines, translates them into electrical impulses, and voila! Out pops the original sound and visuals. Amazing, right? It may seem like witchcraft, but it's just a clever rearrangement of signals between magnetic and electric domains. The tapes use microscopic magnetic party moves to store and recreate actual sound and light vibrations. No real magic required, just groovy science tricks. Hopefully this demagnetizes some of the bewilderment surrounding cassette and VHS tapes. Their audiovisual wizardry relies on converting signals between magnetic and electric vibration parties. No hocus pocus needed. Though if anyone does find any actual magic particles on their VHS tapes, please call me immediately. CDs and DVDs seem straight up mystical with their mini rainbows and laser beam decoding sorcery. How do these fancy frisbees spin out sounds and videos from microscopic dots? And what kind of fairy dust and wizardry make this digital magic possible? Well, grab your tinfoil hats, folks, because we're going deep down the rabbit hole on this one. Let's start with a classic compact disc, aka the CD. How exactly does a shiny pan pizza store and play music with its microscopic polka dots? See, those pristine disc surfaces actually contain millions of tiny pits etched into the plastic. They're so small, you'd need a microscope just to see these Lilliputian holes. These pits encode the zeros and ones of digital data. When creating the CD, magical dolphins and walruses... Okay, sorry, just kidding. There are no marine mammals involved. Here's the real science. The original analog sound waves are sampled thousands of times per second. Then analog to digital conversion transforms these samples into binary numbers. Lasers carefully burn microscopic pits into the disc surface to represent these zeros and ones. It's like using an invisible, pin-sized cattle brand to stamp barely visible indentations into plastic. Wild! Now we've got digitally encoded audio as physical etchings on the CD surface. What wizardry! To play it back, a laser beam shines onto the disc as it spins, reflecting light back to a sensor. These patterns of reflections correspond to the ones and zeros of the hidden pits. The sensor translates them back into digital samples. Finally, a digital to analog converter reconstructs the original sound waves from the samples. This signal amps up and goes to your speakers for sweet, sweet listening. So through sampling, laser etching, and laser scanning, the CD physicalizes digital audio onto its surface. Now onto DVDs. How do these compact discs contain enough data for high-quality video? Well, DVDs rely on the same laser etching and scanning tricks, just packed in way tighter through compression. The pits and lands now represent binary data for millions of pixel values that make up video frames. This data gets decoded and uncompressed to reconstruct the original video from its digitally encoded pit patterns. So CDs and DVDs aren't magic, but they do use some ingenious tricks. Sampling, laser etching, data compression, and precision encoding and decoding between analog and digital domains. All to let microscopic pits and lands store and recreate the sounds and sights we know and love. Sure, CDs may seem boring in our age of streaming and instant digital gratification. But look closer at their rainbow sheen and appreciate the science behind their digital illusion. Etching microscopic pits with lasers to store audio and video is no easy feat. Hopefully this demystifies CD and DVD magic a smidge by explaining the hidden science under the hood, from sampling and lasers to compression algorithms. Still some cool tech wizardry at play, but of the human ingenuity kind. So thanks for tuning into my TED Talk on optical disc wizardry. MP3s seem downright mystifying. How do these tiny files store hi-fi music using matrices of zeros and ones? Do microchips contain portals to tiny musical dimensions? Does big tech trap songs in the digital ether through occult rituals? Well, before we sound the witch hunt alarms, let's break down how these digital files actually work their audio magic. Turns out MP3s rely on some wild compression voodoo to cram high-fidelity music into bite-sized packages. It starts just like analog and CDs. Sound waves get sampled and converted into numbers by an analog to digital converter. But here's where the voodoo kicks in. Super complex math transforms the raw digital data into the frequency domain. Oh, baby, now we're talking! This reveals which sound frequencies are crucial for human hearing versus those that are of lower priority. It's like a sonic sorting hat for MP3 compression sorcery. The encoding algorithm filters out overlapping and less critical frequencies, crunching the data down into a compact blob. It's like a trash compactor for audio files, squishing and squeezing data down to the smallest possible size. Strange magic! But fear not. The original sounds don't actually disappear into a digital vortex. The critical frequency info still hides within the compressed file, waiting to be unleashed. To play an MP3, audio software reverse engineers the encoding process. It scans the matrix of zeros and ones, decrypting the compressed frequency data stored within. The decoder reconstructs the full-body digital audio from just its most essential frequency components. This bona fide sorcery allows huge music files to shrink down into bite-sized MP3s, while losing minimal sound quality. The unused frequency bits gets tossed aside, but the crucial stuff remains. At last, a digital analog converter transforms the decoded audio back into a continuous analog signal for your headphones or speakers. The musical vibes re-emerge from their compact digital cocoon into glorious auditory reality. Alright, hopefully now your mind is no longer boggled by the inner workings of microphones, records, cassette tapes, and all kinds of transducers in between. At a fundamental level, sound is vibration, so whether it's direct mechanical force or electrical signals pulsing through wire, these devices aim to reproduce the vibrations and waves that we perceive as sound. The physics may seem like magic, but it's really just science, baby. Now that your thirst for audio knowledge has been quenched, it's time to kindly ask for just a small, itty-bitty favor in return. See that subscribe button right below this video? It gets awfully lonely sometimes just sitting there unclicked. We sure would appreciate if you give that button some love and subscribe to our channel. Don't make it beg now. Also, giving this video a thumbs up really helps us out too. Alright, that's enough groveling for today. Seriously though, thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments what other quasi-magical technology you want explained next. Bye!